Sacred caves.
Do not relinquish this spot. Hold here.
Looks like there's a decent amount of traps here. Do I have room for recovering traps? Some. These are not good traps though. No, they're terrible traps. They don't do really anything to anyone. But they are frost traps, and if we have to go against a fire elemental, they could be very useful, even if they're basically weakest possible frost traps. Average acid splash, that's already decent. Minor frost trap though, not so much. A lot of monster statues. An average negative trap. Another solid one. Strong spike. Not particularly good one. The damage isn't bad, but it's regular damage, so it's pretty bad against most monsters. Minor electrical, again terrible, does too little damage. Deadly sonic trap, that is very valuable. Very much works on anything, and deadly means it does a huge amount of damage. I would need 4 more points to recover this one. What is it? It's probably some different type of trap, like an acid blob trap or something. It is a gas trap, minor. It's an area of effect trap, that's why it's so hard to disarm. Or recover, rather. Average fire trap. Not bad at all. Deadly trap is by far the most useful one, but the handful of average traps are fairly good too. Minor traps are trivial, irrelevant, they just take inventory space. Strong negative energy. Very useful. Average blob of acid trap. Useful because it can also paralyze you. So single path with no traps. Yeah, the game gives you hints. There's no corpses or scorch marks here.
At their throats, cut them down.
Two paths. One with skeletons and one without. Gonna take a guess at this trap. Average fire. It's another one, at least. Roll the doors trap too. I would need 1 extra point. What is it? That's something I can get, the extra point. Strong frost trap. Intellect doesn't really do anything for us usually. So an intellect potion could be used for this. Not sure if I have one, but I have some that I probably have no use for. Endurance, cat's grace, strength, hilarity, invisibility. So not really an option. We only need one extra point of intelligence to be able to pull that off. It probably has a similar trap. Goes nowhere. This, you start running, please. Sacred caves. So if you're not particularly interested in traps, you could easily run through this. Just keep your eyes open and don't go for the obvious deadly parts. Eldgrim the Mad. Driven mad by months of isolation, this manic dwarf mutters to himself as he goes about his work. Spell resistance, armor class increase. He's dangerous. That is not one of the old gods. It is just a warm lad, short and stout. Wonder if the traps are his too. There's building supplies, building supplies, building supplies, building supplies. So we need these probably to get the ship running. He's done the design for the ship already, just doesn't have enough supplies yet. Nautical diagrams, ship 5.0 prototype. There's a diving bell. Trash compactors. Miniaturizer 0.2 unstable prototype. Do not use.
Hey, what?
You really mustn't bother Daddy Eldgrim so. It's my little illusion. I'm very busy man, you understand. Do you have any supplies for trade? I'm not entirely sure what I'd do with a bunch of illusory money, but I suppose there's no harm in it really. It's mostly old trash that's washed up on shore over the years anyway. I'm looking through this first because I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with that. So now might be the only time we get to do something useful here. Basic crafting crap. Medkits, healer's kits. He's offering better prices than the other shopkeeper. So if we want to ditch equipment, this is the much better choice. Message in a bottle. Found a message in a bottle. How exciting. Unfortunately, it is in a foreign language that you can't seem to make heads or tails of. Darn ocean currents. Chime of opening. This would be open locks, 50 charges. So more than you'll ever need. It's probably a similar item for disarming trap somewhere. Yeah, strong trap, elemental trap is 3000 gold. Deadly frost trap though, 376. So yeah, a little variety in the variation in the prices here. Prism of negativity. Negative energy ray, level 9. Minor prism of negativity. Level 1. Poisons. Bag of holding. I don't care how much it costs, I must have it. Ooh, we can buy multiples. Yeah, give me another one. That pretty much solves the big problem we have. If we are gonna carry around traps and the like, we need something to put them in, otherwise they eat up the whole inventory. I'm not gonna put them in bags of holding. Something that actually has a little bit of more weight would be much better. Actually, I'm sort of thinking of buying additional ones. He seems to have an infinite supply. I'm going through the scrolls too at this point. Basically, if I don't see any realistic use for an item, I'll ditch it at this point. I might use the venom at some point. We would need a tough target in a fight to use that. It's a good probability that we'll never use it, but I'd like the option to be there in case we encounter real trouble. And it doesn't take too much of an inventory space either. So it's a harmless thing in that sense. Continual flame is pretty worthless. Realistically, while some of these are not exactly worthless by any means, you have to keep in mind that there's a very little options you have in a fight. So you don't have the luxury of just throwing spell after spell after spell. You have to limit yourself to a few, and then that's all you can do. I don't want to sell this. Now we have basically a piercing, a slashing, and a bludgeoning weapon. It's very important to have those. If we have to go against skeleton crew, for example, the bludgeoning mace will be vastly more useful than a piercing rapier. Pixie in a bottle. Why do I give a crap about this? I don't. Greater magic weapon. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We could make some kind of shitty weapon good enough to kill powerful enemies for a fight. Certainly worth it. Wooden Eye had the sleep, which I don't think it affects anyone anymore. $112 gold for Topaz. It was 75 with the other merchant. Yeah, they don't really buy traps back. That's unfortunate. Stone bones makes no sense unless you can summon skeletons. And that's it. After this we would have to sell something of actual value. 2,500. Can't afford another bag of holding. I think I'll hold on to the gold though. Amulet wise, he has some resistance amulets, elemental resistance amulets, but that's it. Otherwise, fairly standard gear. Fire resistance 20 would be good against an fire elemental though. Not sure if it's in any way relevant here. A lot of good options. But we're gonna mostly sit on our gold this time. Armor options might be an exception. Spell resistance. Keen, attack bonus. Keen on a rapier is fantastic. Already has a wide range of critical threat. This would double it. Just a +1 weapon, but that's a lot of extra critical hits. Okay, 20, 19, 18 normally, so it'll go to what? 17, 16, 15. 1 in 4 hits will be a critical hit. Actually, it might be more because naturally you're not gonna hit with every dice roll. So most of the hits here that actually land will be critical hits. Critical threat range isn't all that much. I mean, the damage multiplier isn't all that much, but it's something. The fact that it's a +1 weapon with nothing else though is a pretty big deal. Right, this is the more important part. Do they have a better rogue's glove? I wish they would sort of have a consistency in these glove appearances. That way you could sort of determine what type of glove you're looking for by simply looking at the appearance. Right, there's nothing particularly interesting that I see. Greater boots of tumbling. Yeah, this would be the basic light armors here, but we already have a decent armor, we don't have to do that. Cloaks would be nice. I would want a resistance cloak. Immunity to level and ability drain is not a bad thing. We could also even afford it. But yeah, I think I'll leave things for now. The 2 bags of holdings are incredibly valuable anyway. So.
Hey, what?
Okay, who are you?
Ah, my little illusion. So many questions for one so young. My name is Ed Grimm, and I created all of you. You could say I'm your father of a sort.
How did you get here? I don't want to pretend I'm not an illusion or bring it up. I'm mostly interested in the information. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter if he considers me an illusion or not. I just need the information.
Well now, I left my clan home by mule train then walked most of the way to Baldur's Gate. From there I had a wretched voyage by ship and a little bit of an unexpected swim. The final stretch into this cave seemed to involve a lot of crawling. As one should. These caves are sacred to Laugzed.
Sacred to log said. Sacred to log said.
Hold, it was an unfortunate series of events and not one I'd recommend to others. Well, I'm not sure how an illusion like you might fare.
How long have you been here?
About a year, all told. I've accomplished quite a lot, actually. It's an excellent working environment if you don't mind the humidity. I'm a bit low on paper and crafting supplies at the moment, but I'm sure more will wash ashore soon. I recently received a very timely shipment of underwear, however, and some termish spices that make for a tasty meal of smoked fungus. It's more of an appetizer than a meal, to be honest, and the underwear fits a bit tight for my liking, but even so.
What are you working on?
That's none of your business, my little illusion. Daddy Ed Grimm's not making plans to leave you behind on this godforsaken island, oh no.
Okay. I need to get off this island.
And where the eater Garm goes, Garm must follow. Have you illusions been snooping in Daddy's papers again? Why, very well. My secret's out, but don't tell the others. We'll make our escape, you and I, and leave the others behind. There isn't enough room for everyone. Come, let me show you.
Leave room for the parrot. Leave room for the parrot.
If Garm eats you and Eater of Garm eats Garm, there will be room enough for us all. May I present you version 5.0 of the staple hydrodynamic internment pontoon, made of solid woven construction. Ship will not splinter, it will not burn, it is impervious to arrows, and it can be built of readily available materials.
So, do we have an option to use this floating pontoon versus trying to get lizardmen to build a ship like troglodytes? I don't see anything.
Yes, well, it's still in the very early conception stages, to be honest. But imagine this. A bathy sphere 10 feet across, carved of solid stone, that rolls along the bottom of the ocean floor, propelled by your own weight.
Well, it's a hamster ball, is it? What happened to the other 4 versions?
Well, Ship 1.0 is the one that brought me here. Not my design, might I add, typically elvish, with flimsy construction, lots of wood and fabric and heavy reliant on the wind. I can't say I'm surprised it foundered and sank.
What about 2.0?
I was enamored with wood at the time, my tragic experience with it notwithstanding. Rather than something so tippy and narrow-bottomed, however, I came up with a flat wooden plane that sat atop the water. The first one was a ship, really. The second one was a raft. Its shallow draft would have allowed it to avoid the rocks that claimed its predecessors, and even had it sprung a leak, it would still prove seaworthy. An improvement over its elven predecessor, at any rate, though still too flammable for my taste.
What about ship 3.0?
A failed design, driven more by hunger than by practicality. I proposed a hovercraft built entirely of cheese, you see. The 3.2 prototype was constructed out of emptied coconut husks, which at least had the benefit of being more readily available.
4.0?
Ah, yes, this is where I hit upon the bathy sphere idea that I'll be using for 5.0. My thinking was that if I could miniaturize myself to the point where I could fit inside a coconut husk, I could create an entirely self-contained transportation unit.
Make way for the Weirdo Express!
It was all very exciting, but I never did resolve the miniaturization issue, unfortunately. That said, I did receive a thank you letter by bottle from one of the mice I had used for testing purposes. Okay. You don't understand. I need to leave the island now. Well, I do have one workable design, Ship 2.0. The design has some very substantial flaws, keep in mind. I was enamored with yeah. So basically a raft. A raft, you mean? Yes, that was one of the acronyms I considered for it. A reversible alternative flotation thingy. You were a quick one, my little illusion. Almost too quick.
So we have two ways of getting the craft. Goodbye, because I need to talk about the troglodytes. The troglodytes want you dead.
King Utnal has asked it, yes. He considers you to be one of the old gods. Garm has not yet decided if this is true. Ah, yes. I've been led to understand that I taste very good in soup. Luckily, all of you illusions have done such an excellent job of protecting me.
Yeah, they've asked me to kill you.
Yes, there's no accounting for a troglodyte's stupidity now, is there? You're an illusion, my little one. You couldn't even harm a fly if you wanted to. I know how much you yearn to be a real little girl, but there is nothing I can do for you.
Ah, yes, well, as long as you're forewarned. Forewarned is forearmed.
Thank you, my little illusionary guardian. Jolly good job you've done. Was there anything else you wanted, or will you allow me to return to my work?
I guess we're more or less just trying to get the raft. I don't see what's the point of killing this guy to get a favor from the troglodytes. I just want to get out. This seems like the easier path. Now talk about the illusions. We did say there's a fire elemental outside after all, so...
Yes, I crafted all of you to protect me from the troglodytes. They're tough old souls, but they scare easily. Inquisitive little illusion, I'll wreck you. And funny looking too. Wonder what I was thinking when I created you like that. Must have been in a hurry.
Okay, let's see where we go if we try to convince him that I'm not an illusion. Yeah, I'm not an illusion, my name is Unia.
Yes, and I'm one of those troglodytes you've been trying to protect yourself from. Now, don't be ridiculous. I'm rather good at this old illusion business, I'll have you know. Too much self-awareness is a very bad thing. I want others to believe in you, so in the act of creation I must therefore instill in you a belief in yourself. Is this true? Maybe you are Lao Zed, the creator god after all, to have such powers. But why would the old gods take the form of a mad and smelly old whore? Cheer up, my little illusion. Even now I can see the conviction growing in your eyes. No matter what I say, you will remain convinced that you are real and that I am completely and utterly mad. Perfectly natural, I made you that way.
Okay, no, I'm a sailor. I was thrown overboard and washed ashore.
And I am Garm, son of the warrior priest Garshtar. Ah, now a backstory that takes me back a while. You must be one of my older creations then. It's become a bit passé lately. Look, I understand how boring it must seem to be on guard duty night after night. Take some time off, scare the locals, you'll be fine.
Okay, so let's get back to the raft business. Okay, if I got you the wood, would you build it for me?
Yes, yes, more room in the baby bathysphere for me, quite frankly. It will take more than simple driftwood. Troglodytes seem to have a sort of proper planking. If you're willing to brave the village, bring me that and you'll have your raft.
Do we want to pick a fight with the troglodytes? Not sure how Garm would react to that. Miniaturizer to 0.2. It's basically a telescope, isn't it? What about the building supplies here? Moonshay Isles. I already have these charts. Fashioned from scrap metal and coconut shells, this appears to be a non-functional prototype of an unlikely escape craft. But these are just named things, they don't actually do anything. There's one thing we haven't tried. Stealing. I mean, I have the goddamn skills. Waste a skill point on them. I want to see if it's a possibility. You stole armor from Edgrim. Unidentified leather armor. You stole boots of Sahuagin from Edgrim the Mad. Dust boots. Where are my dust boots? Improved saving throw 42. Ah. He didn't at least notice me. I need about 7 to successfully steal something from him. Time of Troubles, that's a book. I'm gonna do the same thing to the Sahuagin King. Troglodyte King. God damn it. No item circle. Right. Not sure how Garm is gonna react to us trying to just steal the wood and escape. Not sure he gives a shit. I mean, Troglodytes worshipping Umberlee don't seem to have much value for Garm. Getting just the sacred wood should be fairly trivial. You can just steal it. I'm not sure if I want to evade a fight. Experience points the reason on why I don't know if I want to evade things. There's a lot of troglodytes there. At the same time, if I can get through this without forcing the issue, I'm not sure why I shouldn't. We attack the boar, please. It's clearly a hostile.
At their throats, cut them. Only I will walk away.
Critical sneak attack plus death attack. 36 physical damage. It's a decent damage for a broke at this level. Also, what is that? Not just street. How much money do I have? 1,500. A dire boar. Yeah, these seem to be spawning here constantly.
At their throats, cut them down.
Right, the boars don't seem to have any initiative in starting combat, so this is a relatively safe area, really.
To the warm blood!
Critical hit, sneak attack. 29 damage. What I need is a second attack. There should be additional boars here. We are only 5,000 away from a level up, and each little creature we kill here gives us more than 100 experience. So the troglodytes in this cave, which are more dangerous, will probably give us a level up. Okay. Thievery first. So we'll hopefully get enough stuff that I can buy more stuff from the Mad Dwarf. I'd like a third bag of holding. We've doused the sacred fire too. I'm sort of interested in seeing what happens to that, but let's go with the pickpocketing first. That's something we want to do no matter what we choose to do afterwards. There are so many guards here though. Not even a dice roll. So I don't think we have a chance here to pickpocket anything. Have to fight, and that makes very little sense. Pickpocket failure. Uh, anything, it would have failed no matter what, but we need around 7 to succeed. Potion of Iron Guts. As long as we don't get detected, failures don't matter. And I think I'm protected from this troglodyte by being on this particular side of the throne. Triple dice rolls. 1, 7, 4, 5. 7 was enough for a success, but barely. Five. 1, 7, 4, 5, 5. $33 gold. Gauntlet. We could try to douse the flames in this cavern. That's pretty much the symbol of the Umberly here. Try to get the prince to become a king or something else. I stole a bullet from a king of now. A single bullet. Well, at least I'm getting something from him. 2 gold pieces. I think it's fairly random what you get. Critical failure. I don't like this curse stealing system. I don't like it at all. I mean, I think realism is sort of one of those things that should not be involved in these type of mechanics. And dice rolls too. I understand where it comes from. Very well so, but no items are gold. You also have to understand that the old pen and paper games don't rely on dice rolls only, so there should be a huge amount of room to make gameplay changes. Cater to actual good gameplay. I think my preference is that you see everything you can access it with your skills. Maybe even show the entire option that you can steal with as if you have no matter what your stealing skill is, but some things are not an option with your skills, or there's some kind of a potential that you can steal. Basically, in a game like this, make the steal skill something that you can use predictably, and basically either have it succeed every time in a situation like this, or make the discovery a threat where if he faces you or if someone else sees you do it, then you get captured. But the percentage or dice roll based failure it just sucks. It just does, because I can spend a huge amount of time here rolling the dice. It's shitty gameplay. It just is. No one wants to do it. At the same time, it's very unreliable. I have no idea even what the potentials are. So I have to keep doing that. Or otherwise I might as well not do it, the thievery at all. So it's, no matter from what angle you look at it, it's shit. You have to steal so many times and take so many dice rolls, so fail to see what the options are in the pickpocketing. So failure at some point is pretty much guaranteed. So the use is basically relying on you loading. That's always bad. Compared to the system where you can just a new window pops up and you see all the things they have. I'm not sure I like the Skyrim or Fallout system either, where there's a percentage based chance of failure based on the item value. It's at least predictable, and fast, so you succeed and fail quickly, see what your options are, so it's vastly better than this. But I still don't like that. Rather, I don't think it's a best possible system. The one in Divinity Original Sin was nice. Basically, you see the options, and every item you take reduces the amount you can steal based on the item value. So you can either take something real valuable, or you can take many less valuable things. And your skill increases the amount you can steal before you get noticed. It's quick, it's predictable, and it's rewards for investing more skill. Right. Instead of stealing the firewood here, I'm going to try to douse the flame, sacred fire, and see what that causes. I mean, because I can always just start a fight for no reason. So I don't think the dousing of the sacred fire only causes a fight here. It has to do something else. Otherwise it's sort of pointless.
I am not wrong. I carried too much.
This is more of a curiosity thing. My main plan is to just steal the food and get the fuck out of here. Or this is more like a metagaming thing, where this might be the path to more experience, but it's not the sensible thing to do. The mighty flames sputter and hiss, and you find yourself suddenly bathed in steam. It may take a little while for the water to soak into the wood and kill the flames. In the meantime, you'll have to keep the troglodytes from throwing fresh wood on the fire. an interesting thing. Different type of a fight. Basically prevent them from reaching the flame.
Follow where I lead.
Our job is to protect the fire.
At their throats, cut them down.
Okay, how long is this supposed to take? I think they have a debuff thanks to the fire kind of going out. Haste, slow effect. That's what they have. Wonder why it didn't affect Garm in any way. Well, the king is dead. Ensign's tunic. Do I really have room for all this shit?
I carry too much.
Oh, I still carry too much. I guess we might as well kill these things then. We're going to get very close to a level up, if not get the level up itself.
Only I will walk away.
There's still the screens, I guess.
Follow where I lead.
Garm ran off somewhere. They're probably going to try to relight the fire, without doubt. Oh, I've killed the prince a long time ago, apparently. It's okay. Fair enough.
At their throats, cut them down. You breathe your last. At their
Feel free to
throats,
take
cut
part in the
them down.
fighting anytime. these are too weak to really be all that much of a bother.
You breathe your last.
There should still be some more guards left. Crew this and that. Not really useful for us. Still, if one of these is the prince, he probably had something besides crude crap. Standard halberd. Not exactly all that impressive. Anyway, I guess I'll save. I wasn't exactly a huge fan of the troglodytes. My main concern was how Garm is gonna react to killing them. And since he doesn't give a crap, I don't see why I should give a crap either. Standard issue troglodytes seem to be fairly harmless. Also don't really reward you all that much. Okay, so we're gonna sell as much crap as possible to the Mad Dwarf, identify all the magical items we found, and that's more or less it. There's nothing else here to do. This is also a fairly reckless thing to try to do for one other reason. There's no guarantee that the Mad Dwarf could have actually built something. At the same time, the Dracula's don't know how to build things either, so not sure how this is any worse. At least the dwarf seems to have plans for different other ships. I mean, he's clearly mad, but he's still building stuff, so he has some skill in that area. We can just direct him to the proper direction, that should do it. 2,100 for getting the pile of trees. We are 622 points away from a Lilla. That's enough if we just kill some random wildlife. Right. So getting marooned is no longer a problem. We got the equipment back, we've got an equipment upgrade. If there's one real weakness, it's our potential for healing. We really should buy some more healing supplies. It's somewhat of an investment, but it's the only reason we have been able to get away with things is that fighting here hasn't been all that difficult. We've always had the aid of a good fighter. Right, now kill enough pigs to get the level up. Level 8. Not sure if I should take a rogue level or an assassin level. There's a limit to how useful you can be with the assassin levels. Big thing was that you get the death strike in the first place. Although I don't recall it ever being actually in use.
At their throats, cut them down.
to look at the death strike a little bit more closely. It clearly has some kind of other thing that's a requirement for it to be activated, because they don't have to do a save throw, just because I can do a sneak attack. I think positioning matters there quite a bit, or it's the first strike, or something like that. At first level, an assassin may use a death attack, which functions similarly to a sneak attack in that if the target is not in combat, they become victim of the death attack. Well, that explains it. The successful attack forces the target to make a fortitude save or become paralyzed. Even if they succeed in the saving throw, they still suffer plus 1d6 points of damage in addition to the normal damage attack caused. This damage increases, yeah, it's basically additional sneak attack damage, and we get it once, the paralyzing effect. So it's good for taking out maybe a caster. Good at opening move in a fight. That's it. But it also needs to be a sneak attack. Just attacking them face on is not gonna do anything. Four more boars and we get to level up. I would definitely like to get a successful death attack though at some point. Just to get an idea of how difficult the saving throw check is at this point.
Only I will walk away.
Paralysis. They have about a 1 in 3 chance in failing that, at least the boars. So it's gonna be mostly used against anything that isn't a fighter. Rogue, wizard types. More borderline worthless against fighters. Still the damage still is still gonna be useful. Of course, we could also go and fight the seagulls. Go kill some of the oozes we encountered earlier. Although I don't see why. They're troublesome. Do elemental damage too. Still, going into the cave itself might cause things here to respawn. We need pretty much anything to get to level up.
Leave no slave alive!
Do they leave any loot? Yeah, the ooze. And I don't see any point in trying to pick fights here anymore. With Assassin we would get Death Attack. Oh, a Death Attack improves. So basically extra sneak attack damage. Uncanny Dodge, Darkness, Fortitude Save, Death Attack improves. Death Attack improves. I'm not sure we get all that much from this anymore. I mean, we will definitely keep getting the Death Attack moments, but skill-wise, Assassin levels are not that valuable. But it's an extra multiplier to the death attack damage. So I think I'll Great, a rogue level at this stage. Pickpockets because while we currently have a decent chance of succeeding in it, I still would like the chance to be higher. That way I don't have to waste too much time on it. Uncanny dodge 2-3 hit points, so terrible hit point wise. Well, 50% it's not terrible, it's just these hit points are not great. What do I need to do? Reach the Mad Dwarf, drink a lore potion, identify all the unidentified items, see what we want to keep, we see what we want to sell. Preferably think about, do we want extra equipment, do we want to save the gold, or do we want to buy another bag of holding? Two is fine, 1 is too little. 3, 4 is preferable, but because I'm more or less going to have to function at the edge of my carry capacity if I don't have a lot of bags folding. And if the game just wants to donate them to me like this, I really should take them. Only problem is I don't know how long the adventure is. So yeah, I'm not sure if this is a sensible way to spend your money. I'm pretty sure I have 1 lore potion no matter what. I do, yeah, 2. I'm also certain I have at least 1 identified thing somewhere here. The rest might be in the bags of holding. There's at least 1 scroll. Yeah, remove paralysis, okay. But this was a dispel scroll of some sort. Gloves of the Calming Wave +3. +3 attack bonus and electrical damage, 1d6. This is amazing weapon. King Utnal's Morning Star. Bonus damage versus Reptilian. Slow on hit. Could be very valuable. Not useful to me, so great item in that sense. We want to sell it. Dragon Turtle Armor. Heavy armor, +2. Fire resistance. Hide. Great for Garm. Windbreaker. It's a +1 light armor with damage resistance against cold. It's not good. Overall armor rating of 9. What's my dexterity? Probably 4. So this has the same, more or less the same thing, but the other armor would have more potential for growth. I have the full armor benefits from this armor now. The other would require me to get more dexterity to get the full benefits. sure if I want to give Garm the equipment piece. I mean, it's good for him, but it's also valuable, and I'm not sure where he's gonna stick with me. So... but it is good for him. 24, 26.
I am no mule. I carry too much.
Do I have anything else? No.
Hey, what?
Okay, all extra crap has to go. Teleport projectile. I've seen far too many clumsy buccaneers become entangled in their rigging while leaping onto enemy ships. The half-elven pirate Darius Goat spent the bulk of his fortune on the development of teleportation-enabled boarding arrows. Sadly, loss of life seems just as prevalent among those using his new invention, as they tend to appear in the midst of well-armed naval officers, fragile longbows still in hand. So we can teleport to where the arrow hits, yes. And it dazes the target. So, has potential though. Probably very useful outside of boarding situations, but who the hell knows. Tunic itself isn't all that interesting, but it's an ensign's tunic, so it might be basically a uniform, so wearing it might have uses at some point. Windbreaker cannot sell, really. 1 gold cost. So do I really have anything to sell? Sahuagin boots, maybe. Yeah, I can't sell anything I steal. At least to this guy. Which sort of makes sense to me. Actually, I can't sell anything I steal. Well, I can sell it at the wonderful cost of 1 gold piece. That's not exactly encouraging though. Also, I don't understand why I can't sell the makeshift torch. I can probably dump it though. That's not much of a problem. Do I care about the stones? I don't see why I would. But I'll keep the stone and tinder until we've actually escaped from this place. Right, so we'll just have to hold on to this crap then. The question is, do we want an extra backup holding or not? We could take something else. I don't think we have... rings would be the only thing we are free on. I think there was a cloak of protection from status effects, attribute loss, that sort of thing. That would be very useful. Precisely because it's in a cloak. Cloaks tend to be somewhat worthless. That protects against a lot of things, against ghosts, raids, status effects from diseases and poisons, really. Maybe. Not entirely from the effects, but from certain status attributes reducing the effects. Possibly, I don't actually recall. Would make poison sort of worthless though if it worked like that, so I'm sort of skeptical. There was something else. Yeah, the backup holding. I'll get an extra one. That would be miss number 3. It's a healthy amount. We can loot a lot of extra crap and not be in any kind of serious trouble because of it. Healer's Kit 1. It costs around 600 to get a full stack of these. Got to sell something. So we can use them to heal poison and disease too, and we have an extra item that increases the effectiveness of this, so I hope that's enough. And extra potion of clarity. I know I have 2 already. The thing is, that's a lot of paralysis or stun or confusion effects that we encounter. And if our opposition here really is in the end Umberly, that's a lot of priestesses, and that's what they have. So.
Hey, what?
Yeah, I found this planking in the troglodyte village.
Ah, you're full of surprises, little one. Oh, come over here and give Daddy Edgrim a hug. Imagine that, one of my precious illusions finally growing up and leaving home. Are you sure you're ready to leave the island?
Yes. Definitely, absolutely, positively. Leave room for me.
There, then come. Let's go down to the beach and build you this raft.
To be marooned on an island, with none but a maddened dwarf and his illusions to aid ye, be a fate worse than death itself. And their intellect left much to be desired. But with time, all things be possible. And before long, the raft was built. There be something about a ship that sings of freedom. And as the currents swept the tiny raft into the sunset, a beacon shone out across the darkened sea. A lighthouse calling all her grateful sailors home.
Ventibular gasp.
Ahoy there, stranger, and mind the rocks. Lighthouses are to be avoided, you know, not steered towards. Though with a craft like that, I don't suppose steering is really much of an option, is it? Well, you're here now, and just before the storm at least. I hope you weren't planning on leaving anytime soon, at least not aboard that. Regardless, welcome to Spindrift Island. I am Ventabulary Gars, resident lighthouse gnome, at your service.
What is a lighthouse gnome?
Ah, it's an old and noble profession, with lighthouses passed down within gnomes families for generation to generation, and okay, I actually just bought the place for cheap, and it's rather lonely, and I don't have any friends, but enough about me.
Okay, Spindrift Island, where's that?
Why, it's right here. The town's a bit of a pirate's den, you could say, hidden away here in the Nilanthar Isles. A lot of "ar matey this" and "yar scurvy that." I prefer my lighthouse, to be perfectly honest.
What's the town called?
Well, everyone just calls it the town. It's the only one here on the Spindrift Island, so it's not like there's another to confuse it with. I suppose you could call it Spindrift Town, if that makes you feel any better about it.
How do I get to it?
To be honest, it must have taken some doing for you and your unfortunate craft to have missed it, as it takes up most of the island. Just follow the path east from the lighthouse and you can't help but stumble upon it.
Why do you call it a pirate's den?
What an odd question. I suppose I could call it a pirate's cove or a pirate's haven, not really a lair so much. A hideout, perhaps. Regardless, pretty much everyone here is a pirate of one stripe or another.
How about supplies?
Supplies. This town thrives on supplies. There are fishmongers and salt traders in the marketplace, information sellers in the monkey's cutlass, purveyors of every sort of stolen, sunken, or buried booty everywhere you look. Salt traders, you say? I taste quite good with just a bit of salt and some butter.
Well, the best place to go is straight to Governor Black Eyes.
He owns the town and all that's traded in it. If you're as desperate as you say, he'll be sure to set you up.
What about a ship?
Then you'd best pay a visit to the docks. There were a couple of fine ships in town last I saw.
Forgive me, but I can't say I'd count yours as a third. Any healing? Could be information about the temples there.
Then you've come to the right place. Umberlee maintains a temple by the harbor, and all the town is built around it. It's a strange sisterhood who run it too. Heretics, it's said, though I dare say most here prefer it.
Why heretics?
The priestesses here are a strange lot. Most of them long since orphaned by the sea. Of any one, they'd have reason to fear their goddess, or worship Umberlee solely for her power. Garm that is to be eaten does not understand. But where we see storms, they see nourishing rains. Where we see terrors of the deep, they see bounty of the sea. Where we see another sailor drowned, they see someone who gave themselves to the waters in an act of love. It ain't right, perhaps, but I'd rather seek their blessings than the curses of the proper Umberland. I suspect most here would agree.
Tell me about are there other churches?
There are other warm-blood gods than this one. Garm that is to be eaten has much to learn. People worship many gods, and Warkeen, goddess of coin, receives her due. But as for churches, shrines, and temples, we've only Umberlees. I recommend you make an offering, whether you're an earnest supplicant or not.
Tell me about Umberlee.
Yes, I wish to learn more about this warm-blood goddess. Well, as she rules the winds and waves, I'll not speak ill of her nor invite her wrath. Successful captains may even praise her for good winds or a narrow escape. As for the unsuccessful ones, there dead and drowned in Fiddler's Green.
Yeah, goodbye.
Yes, well, I suppose I'll retire to my lighthouse then. Do come back to visit once you've been to the town, as I'm always fond of a little company.
Your tiny raft lies shattered on the shoreline, clearly beyond repair. Might as well leave things here. It seems like the game might not go on for too long, because this seems like where the statue was definitely taken, the temple on this island. So things might come to a conclusion fairly quickly. It means there's no point in hoarding gold or items for some later use. Probably no point in acquiring extra bags of holding or things like that. We need to focus on stuff that are usable stuff and magic items that are useful now. Preferably things that could be used against clerics. Clerics of Umberlee, if we have the specific option to do that.